What's up, nerds and nerdettes and we little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big John and G from Two Gun Pixel presents Legendary Gaming. Welcome back indeed, my friends, to another Midday Monologue Monday. I'm really going to have to start just calling Monday Monologues because it's getting rougher and rougher to get these out around midday. But anyway, we are here. And I'm here to talk to you about more horror games. Go figure! I know, big surprise, right, my friends? Now, I've talked about some great general horror games. I've talked about some great zombie games as well as Lovecraft-inspired horror games. My 666, as it were. Well, I want to talk about one other thing here. I would like to talk about when horror is mixed with other themes and genres. The subject's come up a couple of times, but how more appropriate can it be right now? Yeah. So why don't we go down to the table, talk about it real quick, and I'd like to give two examples that I think are great genre mixed games, especially with the horror theme this whole, monthly season. All right, everyone, I'll see you down the table and we'll talk. And we're back here, down at the table, so to speak, my friends. Thank you all for continuing to watch this. Right up front, thank you everyone for checking us out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And of course, thank you all for subscribing to Two Gun Pixie right here on YouTube, for liking, commenting, and of course for sharing. Wow, thanks a lot. That's like the greatest gift ever. Anytime I find out that one of these videos was shared, it's like, wow, somebody liked it enough to share it. Cool. So here we are, another midday monologue, midday-ish. So actually, this is Sunday night. I'm going to be really busy tomorrow. I have a bunch of personal things I got to take care of, so I'm not going to have time to actually go out and film this. So I decided might as well do it tonight and see how much time I have to edit this. So it'll be up at some point. I'm not sure when you're watching this or when it went up, but thank you for being here. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about mixed genre games, especially when it comes specifically right now for this time of year. We're all thinking horror and dread and fear. Yeah, this is the time for it, that's for sure. I love this month. I love the whole aspect of Halloween. Anything that's going to give you a scare, or potentially a scare, or make you think of a scare, is good for me on this month, that's for sure. So let's talk about these two games. These two games, not four games, but two games right here that mix up the genres. Now, I have mentioned this topic before, and as far as I know, I'm not going to tread on another game that I was talking about that is also covered by this. But I got two games, and they are a bit polar opposite as far as what theme is being mixed with the genre of horror. The first one is an Old West game. It's by Z-Man Games, and it's called Spectral Rails. Now, Spectral Rails is a train game set in the Old West, but that's about where similarity to games like Ticket to Ride sort of end. In this, you're not vying to get ownership of rail lines. In this game, you are the engineer. You are the spectral engineer of a ghost train. And your job is to pick up the souls that have gotten lost. Souls of miners and prospectors and other figures from the Old West. And you're going to score points by taking them to ghost towns. And you can score bigger points when you deliver sets to these ghost towns. Now, what you move in this game I found interesting is you're going to be using a system of cards, your ether cards, to determine your move from round to round. But you have to be careful in managing your deck of cards, because you're only going to get, I think it's half of them, back at the end of each round to work with on the following round. So you really got to be very careful. Now, while you're playing the game, you're able to lay down these spectral rails behind you. Now, other players can use these to their advantage and help them in moving their trains. And likewise, you can use the spectral rails left behind from other players. And there's a real interesting aspect where you are in control of your own spectral rails. So there are times when other players are using them that you can just make them disappear. Just get rid of them. And it kind of traps the other player in a sense. It gives it a little bit of that take that mechanism to the game. There's a great balance, I find, in this game between the strategy and the luck. The strategy being what you want to go, where you want to pick up, where you're going to deliver them, and how many cards you're going to use, how many spectral trails you're going to be leaving behind. Now that's where your strategy ends as well, because it's going to have to be adapted depending on what the other players are doing on their turn. So in that sense, it brings player downtime, well, down a little bit, because you have to watch the other players and you have to sit there and think and adapt your strategy between your turns. And it's all dependent on the other players and what they do. So a little bit of luck, a little bit of strategy, and some really good timing makes this a very interesting mix of how you're going to be able to win this game. Z-Man Games has put out some great games that I love. Pandemic Reign of Cthulhu. I'm looking forward to trying some of the other Pandemic games, as well as Merchants and Marauders. This game is going to deliver for what you want it to be, as far as a good Halloween game is going to play within 60 minutes, 2 to 4 players. And I think the age for this is 12 and up, I believe, if I remember. It's a good game. You're going to like it. So there's another mixed genre game that I wanted to bring to your attention, and this is the opposite. As far as time periods go, this is opposite of the Old West. We're looking at the future, the near future, the possibly very near future, but enough to give it that sci-fi blend, as well as a touch of military in it. Now, this is a game by Privateer Press, and it's called Level 7 Omega Protocol. Now, this is a sandwich game. This is an Oreo game. This is a game right in the middle of a 3-part series. Now, the first one is a complete escape game, Level 7 Escape, where you wake up in this military government-run facility where you're being tested on. And you find out this facility is being run with the humans and aliens. And you mount your escape to escape from this mountain, this mesa. Now, this game is the exact consequences of the players escaping in the first game. You don't need to play the first game. You don't even need to know the first game for this. In this game, you're playing either one of two things. You're either playing a member of the special ops team of military men that they send to go in and find out what's going on and fix it at this base. Or you can be the alien overseer, the one who's now in charge, is taking everything over. And this is where the balance in the one versus all comes in. It comes in between these two players. Yes, there's a lot of games that are one versus all. It's very popular. This one is very dependent on a almost symbiotic relationship, though, between the players in the special ops and the player that's running the Overlord. Because everything the special op agents do, everything those players do in this game is going to generate adrenaline. Fear. Whether you move, whether you attack, whether you activate something, it's going to create adrenaline. And that is what the Overseer and the aliens run on, practically. It's their psychic energy. They're almost like psychic vampires in a sense. So every time the players use adrenaline, the Overseer player is going to get that adrenaline. He's going to be able to use that to bring in extra aliens, monsters, set off traps, and generally make the special operatives' lives hell. So the more that the operatives do, the more the alien Overseer can do to them. But if they don't do enough, they're never going to win the game. Now, another thing you might like about this game is it's run like a campaign. It's an RPG hiding as a board game. Or is it a board game hiding as an RPG? I'm not going to argue that. Either way works for me, because it is both. If you're going to play this game the right way, you're going to play this in the campaign mode. And in between each campaign session, between each adventure, the special operative teams are going to get a chance to improve themselves, their skills, even their equipment. Trust me, they're going to need it moving on to each level. So it definitely does bring this RPG feel, at least in the way the characters advance. I mean, most of these board games don't give a lot of opportunity for RPG playing between character and NPC interactions, which is at the heart of most real tabletop pencil and paper RPGs. But this game goes really close. This is one of the most RPG games I've actually played, and definitely one of the top 2 or 3 in my personal collection here. You're going to like this game because it brings you the atmosphere of fear and dread, in the sense that you know the more you do, the more you're feeding your opponents. And that does cause a little bit of anxiety. And it has the alien monstrosity feel for Halloween. Has that down packed. It actually harkens to me perfectly to 2 different things. The second Alien movie, Aliens, pluralized one, the one with the military team going in and finding Newt and having to deal with the xenoforms there. Definitely feels like that. However, it also feels like something I remember in reruns, is the closest word, though it's not a TV show that I can think of. I remember as a kid learning about how radio dramas used to be a thing just in my father's generation, one generation before me. The whole concept of radio dramas. I've heard some over the years, including the original War of the Worlds. There was a great radio drama done of Dragonlance, and I love these because they make you feel so immersed in the story with the whole background noises and everything. But the way the stories play out is very much the same feeling I get from Omega 7's Omega Protocol's campaign adventures. Each one feels like a really good sci-fi radio drama. The radio drama of Aliens, but it takes place on Earth. It's a fun game. Mixing up the genres is something board game companies need to do more of, I think, because we've kind of hit everything that you can possibly think of as a theme or a genre in the board games nowadays. And some of them are overly used, some of them aren't used enough. But even the ones that aren't used enough are still used a ton more than mixed genre games. We need to see more of them. If you have any mixed genre games that you like, tell me about them, because I definitely want to learn more about games like that. They're, as far as types of games go, they're on the top of my list. All right, everyone, so check those games out if you want. I think you're going to have fun with them. And again, thank you all for checking us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So much social media! And thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing our YouTube videos. I'm your buddy Big Johnny G with Two Gun Pixie Presents.